What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and Randy Pitchford declares victory on the Epic Games Store. And I'm starting to question if I'm the only one that didn't buy the game based on its Epic Games Store exclusivity. Now, late Friday and throughout the weekend, sales data for Borderlands 3 has been coming out, and it's been, according to them, a huge success. In fact, Randy Pitchford himself said that, fun fact, on PC, so this is a direct chat, basically a direct shot at Steam, the data is at launch day peak, concurrent players of Borderlands 3 is, quote, twice as high as all-time peak concurrent players on Borderlands 2. Wow, you guys are great. Now, we have no way of verifying this data because Epic Games Store does continue to hide and will never share this data. That's part of the reason video game developers choose them. And the idea that you doubled Borderlands 2 isn't exactly that impressive to me, given that The Witcher 3 sold 10 times as many copies as The Witcher 2, just as example, with The Witcher 2 selling something like 1.7 to 2 million copies from early numbers I saw, and Witcher 3 selling like 20 million copies. So I'm not sure what this exactly means, but everybody's lining up to kneel before and accept into their mouths their Epic Game Store lords and saviors. And I think that some people are doing it simply because of the revenue split. Some people are doing it because they legitimately don't care, and I do think that this is the largest group of people. And then there's a group of people that pretend to like Epic Game Store because they stick it to those angry gamers, as far as I'm concerned. And articles like this one on Forbes seem to be in that last category. When Gearbox announced Borderlands 3 would launch on Epic Games Store exclusive, the backlash was deafening. Or in fact, it seemed deafening. The combination of the already established anti-Epic community and the particularities of the Borderlands fanbase led to a major outcry. Everything we have expected from these issues. Claims of anti-consumer behavior, conspiracy theories, review brigading, and threats of boycott. Now that the game is out, however, we can get some idea that actually means when it comes to sales. And as it would turn out, not much. Here's Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford. See, I refute this statement wholeheartedly. There is absolutely zero chance I don't buy Borderlands 3 on launch day if it's on Steam, or maybe launch week. There's no way I'm the only one that feels that way. So just because this is a huge fallacy, right? Oh, it doubled the sales, therefore I was right. It doesn't prove that, because there's no alternate reality where you could actually put that up against a Steam release. To me, it's pretty obvious that it had you released on both Epic and Steam, it would have been higher. But just like they can't prove it wouldn't have been, I can't prove that it would have been. Fair warning, we can't really say for certain that Epic Games Store had a positive effect on PC sales because it's been 7 years since Borderlands 2, and both the gaming industry writ large and the PC industry specifically are very different than they were back then. But we can say with some certainty that it didn't have a negative effect. See, you can't. You can't say that. This is what I would call shilling for Epic Games Store. You can't say that both you don't know for sure if the numbers are right, but you also know for sure that the numbers are right. That's essentially what this article says. It says, we can't be sure that the sales numbers are legit because it's Epic, but we can be sure that the sales numbers are legit because reasons. It's a weird stretch that definitely feels and rings as disingenuous to me. We can say that with some certainty it didn't have a negative effect. No, you can't. And this is not an uncommon story. First major Epic Games Store controversy surrounded Metro Exodus. The game also managed to outsell Steam-based predecessor by a factor of 2.5. Again, just because it's better doesn't mean that it didn't have a negative effect, because you have no scenario in which you would have known that it might have been 5 times better if you had launched on Steam. There is no doubt in my mind that there are thousands of people that didn't buy the game because of the Epic exclusivity, and that there are zeros of people that bought it because it is an Epic exclusive. Do you get me? That's where my mind's at. There's nobody that bought this game because it was an Epic exclusive. There's no reason. There are no extra benefits. The Epic Game Store is worthless. It doesn't add anything. There's no reason to be loyal to it. So the idea that Epic had exclusivity there's no way that it's not practical that that would have swayed any users. Steam, on the other hand, does have a loyal user base. And the fact that I feel more inclined to believe that people would have chosen not to buy it. So what this is to me, what this reads as to me, is Forbes shilling for Epic Game Store, which is something we've seen PC Gamer do, and we've seen Forbes do now. At the end of the day, no, we don't know that Metro Exodus did any better or any worse due to its Epic exclusivity. I think the best that we can say is that if it was a wash, Deep Silver, and in this case 2K Games, made more money because Epic takes a bigger share of their revenue. Even if sales, let's say, were marginally down, maybe sales are down 1% to 2%, then left over net revenue money in their pocket is probably still higher given the large discrepancy in the amount of money that Epic Game Store takes versus Steam. That's undeniable. That's obviously attractive. Borderlands 3, Borderlands 3 proves that the most powerful weapon is FOMO, fear of missing out. Now, this headline, again, insinuates that because the game sold well, it means that it was because of that the Epic Game Store had zero impact. This is a huge logical error. You have no way of knowing that. You don't know that just because it's twice as high as it was 8 years ago or whatever, the highest concurrent B2 ever was, you don't know that it couldn't have been 4 or 5 times higher. It could have also been 1 to 2 times higher instead. You don't know what you don't know. It just leaves it open to spin. And none of these articles seem to be truly embracing the fact that we don't know. Look, I don't like Epic Game Store. I didn't buy the game. There's 0% chance that nobody didn't buy it because of Epic Game Store. Do you understand what I'm saying, industry shills? I'm telling you that I am a paying customer who purchased Borderlands 2 or the Handsome Collection, and I did not buy your game because it's on Epic Game Store. And if you like this video, maybe you're also another person. So I'm not saying that it wasn't wildly profitable. What I'm saying is you can't take a victory lap because you don't know what you don't know. Borderlands 3 has garnered some pretty noteworthy praise, from some cherry-picking shill outlets like IGN, which is known to get review copies early in exchange for presumably better reviews. Destructoid and Shack News, never even heard of the first one. And there are plenty 4, 5, and 6 reviews, including plenty of zeros from customers. Now, the game is not Fallout 76 levels of bad. Most of the bugs seem livable. And from what you are all saying, as subscribers, most of you who bought the game are enjoying it just fine. So I think that there's that to be said, but it isn't all perfect. Much of Borderlands 3 hype was overshadowed by well-publicized opposition to 2K opting to sell the PC version on Epic Game Store rather than Steam. Now, maybe what this really speaks to is the fact how little PC gaming is. Maybe that's what it speaks more to, of just how, indifferent the overall sales numbers are in terms of PC versus console gamers. The perceived lack of interest in features and merits of siding with Epic Store for a hefty down payment left many players enraged. The lack of pre-ordering featured resulted in frustrating coursing through Borderlands 3 community. The last-minute dash to implement preloading into Epic client reversed that trend somewhat, but how Epic Borderlands 3 congratulate each other for a feature that's been commonplace for the better half of a decade only bolstered opposition to the exclusivity. Further, many fans felt the crossover event with Fortnite detracted from the Borderlands franchise roots as a mature, irreverent title, acting as a haven from pop culture offerings of Epic's flagship Battle Royale. Again, you don't know anything about... Be wary, first of all. If I were coming out right now and saying, I know that the sales were greatly negatively affected because it wasn't on Steam, I can't know that. All I can know is that I personally didn't buy it because it was on Epic Game Store. Therefore, that completely invalidates their statement that it had no effect. Because you at least would have had one more sale, right? And I find it hard. You would be hard-pressed to find people that are loyal to the Epic Game Store. People don't use it. There's a sense that those staunchly refuse to buy the game on Epic Game Store are missing out when initially predictions qualify them as the best Borderlands title to date, if not the best. The FOMO may have helped and will continue to bolster Epic Game Store's Fortune's Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford revealed on Twitter that the PC player numbers had blown those Borderlands 2 out of the water. Again, double is awesome, but you had 6-year run-up, a massive marketing budget, and you could also say, you only doubled? Why didn't you triple or quadruple? Now, I can't say with any confidence that it would have tripled or quadrupled if it was on Steam, but I can say with confidence you've lost at least one customer due to it. It goes without saying, Epic Games has pulled off quite the coup by securing Borderlands 3 exclusivity, and it's already cashing in on the dividends. Sure, the physical copy of the game is selling well. Borderlands 3 beats Days Gone as 2019's best retail launch in the UK. Again, retail, it's hard to compare given just so many people are buying digital these days, but I think it's still directional, especially when placed right up against another title. For example, Gears 5 or NBA 2K20. These are games that came out in the same month, so you're not having huge swaths of changes in the industry. For example, if you compared physical copies sold a month before the PS5 or the new Xbox Scarlet come out and the month after, I don't think that's going to be reasonable because you're not going to have like any physical copies anymore unless you're looking at Nintendo games exclusively. Certainly, Borderlands 3 is selling well to the surprise of no one. It's doing well. Happy for them. I never expected the game to quote-unquote tank. It's just too big of a franchise. There's too much advertising behind it. There's too many hugely influential people out there playing it. But I would probably take it easy on the victory lap there, Randy Pitchford. I'm not sure that doubling your peak player count is exactly that huge. Is it? Am I being too hard on it? Probably a little bit. But, I mean, if you 5x'd or 10x'd, I think it would be difficult to push back. Now, maybe after another week of buying or, 3-4 weeks, people start getting the game. Maybe it's 3x, 4x. But it's definitely not an unheard of number. I picked Witcher 3 randomly, but there's absolutely many sequels that were probably significantly better. I bet you that Quake 2 compared to Quake 1 was significantly better. Quake 3 to Quake 2 is probably significantly better. I mean, it's really not that impressive to me that a sequel does good when you have 6 years to build it and multi-million-dollar advertising budgets. But hey, I'm happy you're all enjoying Borderlands 3. Still don't like Randy Pitchford. Hopefully we can at least agree on that. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Above, you'll find some links to watch more videos, as well as a nice big button to subscribe, which I hope you'll do. If you did enjoy it, make sure before you go that you leave a like and a comment on the video, because you are the #1 reason this channel continues to grow, and I appreciate you.